Okay, Tanya, I think we're going to do it.
Yay! All right.
Hi, what's up, Tanya?
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again. Episode 17.
Here we are, doing
Yeah,
it remotely this time around.
we are. We're just a little too busy for, I need to do a quick one because I'm going to Arizona this weekend for the solar
Indeed.
show. Mhm.
And we're going to talk about that. That's one of the main things we're going to talk about.
Definitely.
And we are going to kind of get right into it with some tips and things, I think,
Yes.
that we had. Let's kind of run through that.
Yeah, well, first I wanted to remember that I showed you that Losmandy best telescope mounts.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
It's not just
Yes.
a tip. That is a true thing from someone, Damian Peach, who wrote it up. And what's so funny?
Right.
is
So let's talk about that. Go ahead. I'm going to put it up.
Okay. What's so funny is episode 16, we actually talked about Damian Peach because he's an amazing planetary imager, and you've been going more into planet imaging.
Yes.
And we brought him up, and then all of a sudden this pops up in my news feed.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, let me see who's the best telescope mounts in 2022, right?
This is space.com listing best telescope mounts in 2022. They have 6 total.
Mm-hmm.
And the Losmandy G11 is the best one for, he calls it a superb choice for serious amateur astronomer, which I think is kind of where space.com is focused on.
I know. I can't believe I feel like, as a biased opinion, I feel like, of course we would make the cut, but it was nice to see that we made the cut. And I sent it immediately to you and Scott. And I was like, oh my God, look at this. And you're like, no way. Scott didn't even know about it. So we had no idea. And then I come to find out, if you look at the person who wrote the article, it was Damian Peach.
Right. So I just want to point out, because I am getting more into planetary, mm-hmm. Damian has a Patreon. And I'm not shilling for him, I promise you, but it's a very reasonable Patreon, and he's got some phenomenal information and sample data you can play with. He just was down in Barbados recently shooting Jupiter. Wow. I mean, absolutely astonishing images.
Yeah.
But I would encourage anybody who's thinking about planetary and trying to take it to that next level. Damian's Patreon is a fantastic one. It's very reasonably priced, and you get immediate access to all of his various tutorials and things that he's doing. So I would really recommend that planetary folks should check it out.
Great recommendation.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
sure. You said that you've learned a lot from him, so that's great.
Yeah, just some great technique. I mean, the guy's been doing this for so long, and he's, his images of all the planets and his scientific contributions. He's actually, he has done the voiceover for a number of YouTube videos that are kind of just generally about the universe and the planets and things like that. And I'm like, I recognize that voice.
Oh, yeah.
So, but he's a great guy, very knowledgeable, and lots of good information to glean from his Patreon. So check it out if you're a planetary person.
Yes, definitely. And check out that space.com for those best amateur mounts. I think that was
indeed. Now, speaking of things to check out, you were checking out something from the post office.
Well, yes. So I do get this book. We went through this, I think, last year. Remember, we couldn't say. I can't say.
I don't know. Philatelic.
Okay,
is that basically like the stamp book from the post office?
Yes, it is. It is a stamp book. Okay, so you can go through and see what all the new stamps are coming out. And we talked about James Webb last time, and I got this book like shortly after, and this is the new James Webb stamps, and I like the few stamps that we have to send out every year. I do like to purchase space stamps.
Space themed stamps.
Yeah, so look, I got the James Webb ones. Aren't they nice? I haven't used any yet.
They look beautiful.
Yeah. So I haven't used any of these yet. The last year they didn't really have a great space stamp, so I bought. I don't know if you know this. I think you'll know this book. all the kids out there. Look.
Oh.
Do you remember that book? The Giving Tree?
Oh yes, The Giving Tree, of course.
Yes, he's got a lot of books. So that's been my stamps for the past year. But because they didn't really have a space stamp, so I thought I'd contribute to the kids area.
I like it. Now let me just point out that we have the James Webb Space Telescope stamps available from the U.S. Post Office, obviously for U.S. mail, but I'm just going to show that link there.
Wow,
online.
Stamps are 60 cents now. But if you buy the forever stamp, it's always whatever the current price is. That's what's so great about those stamps.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, when you get the what's the word I want to use? These are kind of collector stamps. They do charge a little bit of a premium for them. I don't think they're the same price as your kind of basic forever stamp, but it's not that much more. And they're beautiful, as you pointed out. They're beautiful stamps.
Yeah, and it's just spreading space. Yeah. So.
Love it.
Love it. I love that. And then, so Brian was showing, so next on the list of our tips and things, Brian was showing me a video that we will be showing later on in this episode. But when he was showing it to me, because we were talking about how we're getting ready and what we're going to talk about for this episode, he was showing me the video and I was like, why do you have that orange plate on that Losmandy saddle? Okay.
That was the planetary video that we actually did release.
Okay.
So, and I will show you a. Let me see if I can find it here.
Okay.
Okay. So here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Hang on. Let's. Let me get it. Okay. Here we go. So I'm just gonna. This is the video that we showed on remote planetary imaging.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna. Here I am slewing the telescope. And it's the Celestron Edge HD11.
Great telescope.
And here it's coming. There it is.
You work at Losmandy and have all of this access to your disposal, Brian. So what did I do? I sent him a DC-11. Yeah, DC-11.
It's a 19, I think.
No, a DC-11, which is the part number. It's called. It is a 19-inch dovetail plate.
It is indeed.
I gave you the radius blocks with it too.
Yes.
So
I did have one mounted to the top, but I just couldn't. I didn't get around to mounting it to the bottom, and we had a discussion.
Bit of a process, yeah.
Well, we had a discussion about this because, and I think you have the orange plate there, right? You're going to sort of just demonstrate that. So here's the thing about these, and we had a discussion about this in the user groups. There were some issues with people who have, this is a very typical kind of, I don't want to say it's a throwaway plate, but it's kind of the entry-level plate that comes with telescopes, right? Especially with Celestron. And if you show the side of that, right, when we look at this.
Like right here, like this?
Yeah, you can see there's just two tines coming down that form the kind of the wedge for the dovetail. I don't know if you can see this one too well.
Yeah, yours is dark.
This is solid, right? This is completely solid.
Solid.
So the problem with those orange ones is that they don't tip in well. And they have a tendency over time to be compressed and kind of squished down.
We've seen that quite a bit, haven't we?
We've seen that, right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So I knew I had a little bit of time, but yes, absolutely. These dovetails, the Losmandy D-style dovetails, and D just means kind of it's the width. It's a standard width that, Scott invented. That is the standard,
right. Yeah, Scott standardized the industry on this. Mm-hmm. So when you're purchasing a Losmandy D-style plate, the ones that are a Losmandy brand will have the trademark on it. Okay, so a lot of people out there a lot of people will say, oh, that's a Losmandy D-style plate. Well, it's not really a Losmandy plate, but a lot of people have used that name. So just make sure when you are buying Losmandy products that they do have that trademark, if you want the Losmandy exactly.
Yes. And just to be clear, the reason people refer to it as a Losmandy D style is because Scott invented, before Scott kind of invented this plate, there was no standard way to have telescopes and mounts interchangeable.
Correct. Yep.
And so Scott recognized that need.
Yeah. And then, for some reason it caught on as everybody just started standardizing. And then Vixen did the same for the smaller rail. And I noticed that now a lot of the amateur astronomer telescopes have a dual saddle. So they accept both V and D series plates.
Right, which is of course what our mounts all do as well, right?
Yes,
of
yes.
course. So.
Yeah. So buy that Losmandy plate. It helps with flexure, stability. Put it on the bottom of the OTA, and then if you want, put your orange plate up on top to hold all of your equipment.
There you go.
Yeah. So
I like it.
Yeah, all that stuff. You know all that stuff. You know.
Yes, and we will. And by the way, Tanya, I will put in the description a link in the description. We announced before, but I want to reiterate, we have a configurable dovetail portion in our catalog that allows you to configure a bottom plate and a top plate. You can choose the radius blocks and everything else. So that's a really good way to kind of fully configure your mount with whatever plates that you need. Yeah,
I will have to say, Brian, that was a great episode that we did because it took a little bit for people to kind of start grasping that whole configurable plate and why to do it. But so many people now are saying that they do need the longer plate because they need to put equipment on the back side of it and then move up their telescope. So it was really, I think it was a really great informational episode that we did.
Yes, and they are available, and you can just even browse through them. Even if it's just getting a bottom dovetail, you can at least choose the plate length, the plate type, and then the radius blocks if you need them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a great idea. So next on the list, this is something that, Brian looks through the forums and stuff like that. Well, we both do. And we do try to learn from them. And one of the things was our YouTube channel, the tutorials. And so, Brian, do you want to kind of talk about what some of the people have explained or said and kind of show what that is?
Yeah, so we get a lot of feedback. We have a lot of customers, not only in the U.S., but all around the world, of course.
Yes.
And we have kind of a few, I think I want to say maybe about 3 years ago, we asked for input as far as what people wanted in education and in training and sort of getting a new mount up and running. And overwhelmingly, it was YouTube. So we've produced, I think, 20 or 30 videos on pretty much from unboxing to first light on your mount. Mm-hmm. But a couple times, we've asked people, we said, I go too fast when I explain things. Which is fair.
Right.
Sometimes it'll be English.
Fast too. Yeah, I talk fast too. Mm-hmm.
English might not be their first language, or it's just goes too fast. So I wanted to point out, I'm gonna bring this up now. I'm just picking a tutorial here. I want to show you some things that are available. And I think I can play it here. So I'm going to be talking. That's me blabbing away about God only knows what. But here's some tips you can use while you're watching the YouTube. In addition to obviously just, you can pause it. Okay. You can use the J key to rewind 10 seconds. You can use the L key to move forward 10 seconds. You can press the space bar to start and stop. But down here, you have closed captioning, which you can enable, and it turns out that YouTube automatically produces, it's a voice to text kind of thing. It will actually produce the closed captioning. So as you can see, it just kind of, whatever I'm saying there, they're actually doing a great job of translating that. So that's one thing that people can do.
Yeah, very
Another
nice
thing is that if you feel like it's going too fast, but you don't want to necessarily start and stop, what you can do is go under the gear icon for settings, and under playback speed, you can choose 3/4 or even half. And what's nice about this is that you can still play it back, and it's going to have normal sounding voice. I mean, it won't be perfect, but it can go much slower, or if you like, you could even go faster. But that's another way to actually go about that,
Nice.
So that's a couple of tips that I want to point out. The last thing I'll mention, which is kind of, I think, within the last year or so, we've really focused on this, is that if you scroll down into the description, we always try to have a table of contents, as we will in this video, that allows you to look at the topic, and then based upon what you're interested, you can click on the topic and we'll actually jump right to the portion in the video where you can watch this.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've used that a few times when people do call here. I will say, right here at episode 15, if you go to minute 34, it shows you exactly how to do that.
Right.
And I love those chapters. That's a great feature that we have on our YouTube channel.
So
videos.
Yes. So if you want to kind of skip ahead, or, some of our tutorial videos or even our podcasts cover a lot of different topics, you can go down there, look at the table of contents, and be able to actually jump to the specific topic that you're interested in without having to watch through the whole thing or kind of guess at where it might be.
Right. Well, great.
So
Thank you.
I wanted to point that out. It's a great way to do YouTube, and we love it.
Yes, those are great features that YouTube offers. So, all right, and then next on the list, I think we talked about it briefly last time, but I think you're going to go maybe into a little bit more detail about using the app for the Polar Scope result.
Yes. So I want to point out we do have a tutorial on using the Polar Scope for doing polar alignment. If you don't happen to have a computer or are using something like PolMaster or iPolar, which we offer in our store.
Okay, right.
So if you're using the Polar Scope, you need some sort of reference. And we had talked about in the tutorial video, you kind of look up in the sky and you look at the constellations, and then you kind of eyeball it on the reticle. Right. Well, I want to point out that, props to Michael Covington, who pointed this out to us in a comment. Michael, you're the man. But there is an app called PS Align Pro. Okay, and I'm going to show you a picture of this.
Okay.
But this is the app, and you can get it. I think it's available for both Android and for
iPhone.
Mm-hmm. And there is a reticle in there. And a reticle is just a fancy word for kind of a pattern that's displayed that you align things up with. But there's a reticle in there for the Losmandy Polar Scope. It's the Losmandy Kenko style Polar Scope.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a really easy way, and I think that it's not free. I think that the app might be $2 or $3, but if you really want to have something a little bit more accurate, not only does it show you kind of the rotational orientation, but also shows you within the gap, because there is a gap that's a bit of it's not just a point, it's a gap. It'll show you where in the gap that you want to place Polaris. Okay. Very, very handy, very easy to use. If you do a lot of polar alignment with the Polar Scope, it's a great way to do that.
That sounds great, especially it's only I think it's $2.99 on the App Store, at least for iPhone it was. I don't know if the Android App Store is the same. I don't know how that goes.
Yeah, it's kind of roughly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's a great tool. That's a great tool for people. Yeah,
indeed.
Thanks, Michael.
Yes.
You didn't know about it. You learned about it. That's awesome.
I did not. I read that and I thought, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. So he's very active in the forums too, isn't he?
And I believe he's a forum administrator in Facebook for, I'm not sure which, it was kind of more of a general astronomy Facebook group, but quite popular. And Michael, I'm sorry, you're going to remind me of what it is on the bottom in the description in the comments, I hope. But he's very active and has a lot of great input for folks.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? It took him a couple years, I think, to pick up our mount, and he finally pulled the trigger. And I want to say he's very, very happy with his decision. So
Indeed. We certainly hope so.
We like him being in our community, that's for sure.
Now, just as sort of a small point, because in a lot of these Facebook communities, we do get questions about the ASIAir Pro and now the Plus. The ASIAir, of course, the ZWO all-in-one sort of little Raspberry Pi-based computer.
A lot of people use them.
In addition to sort of being a little computer, there's power ports on them. There's all kinds of stuff. But do not power your mount from the ASIAir device. That is not something unique to Losmandy. That is just a general recommendation that people have when using this.
Because it just doesn't work properly, right?
I'm not an expert in that. I don't want to say it's I don't want to say it's a hard and fast rule. I don't know. But generally speaking, when this topic comes up, and again, not specific to any particular mount, but the general response has been, don't power your mount from the ASIAir. Okay, got it. I got it. Yeah. Now the good news is the ASIAir usually lives on the telescope on top of the mount. So powering the Gemini or whatever your telescope is, your mount, is usually a good idea because you don't then have an extra wire that goes from the telescope to the mount, right?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Run it from a battery on the floor or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So don't run it to the Gemini unit.
Right.
Awesome.
Now, you've been talking to some customers, I know.
Yes, always. But this gentleman just picked up one amount. She's had it for a couple months, right? But he, a lot of people call here, which I appreciate, and tell us stuff. But he said that he has a remote area, and he made these pads. He wants another one of our mounts, okay? So he's like, he has a pad that's empty. I think he said it's like Mars or something. But he made these concrete pads at his remote site and painted them.
So here's his remote site.
Yes.
Yep, and here's a top-down view. So these are what? These are concrete pads that what did he do now? He just painted them?
Yeah, he painted them. They're just concrete pads, and he painted them. And they're just they're painted like the planets. And I think that's so cute. And we're talking about planets so I thought that was a fun thing for him to share with us and to share with everybody.
Super cool.
Makes his little area a little bit more fun and festive.
Yeah, I like
space.
That. I like that a lot.
Festive is the right word, but it makes it more in the mood, right?
Now, do you happen to know where he's actually located?
I don't. Gosh, I want to say he's somewhere in the Midwest. I forget, like Illinois, Wyoming, maybe Dakota, one of the Dakotas. I forgot.
Because our next topic, it's all about location, right? Especially in the U.S.
Coming up. That's right.
That is the Great American Eclipse, right?
The Annular Eclipse, yes.
So, and here is a website. It's called greatamericaneclipse.com. I'm going to show this.
It's a great resource for people to, to plan for the annular eclipse and any information about it.
So the annular solar eclipse is almost exactly 1 year away. And I hope we're going to have a special guest on. But obviously we're sort of talking about solar type stuff.
Right.
I'm hoping he's going to give us some tips on maybe thinking about some filters, things like that for shooting solar, because as soon as people start thinking about this in earnest, 3 to 4 months beforehand, everything's going to be sold out. Yes. So now's the time to start thinking about how to photograph the annular solar eclipse coming 100%. Up October 14th.
Get your mount, your scope, your filters, however you want to decide to photograph this event. Definitely start doing it now, because we get so busy, and so does all the other manufacturers, that you may not be able to get the equipment that you want for that.
You won't. So, I mean, 3-4 months ahead of that, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So you mentioned our guest, and I promised in the last episode that we would bring Kevin on, and I would hopefully get on a phone call with him or whatever, but we did something even better. So he's going to be here in person in just a little bit.
Fabulous.
Love I know. I'm excited to see him, and I'll be seeing him this weekend at the Soul event, which we're very excited to do. Oh my gosh, I do have something for him that I'm going to show him, because we're giving away a prize at the
Oh yeah, let's talk about that when he's on. Yes, when he comes on,
because he hasn't seen it yet, so I want to show him. He keeps asking me for it, but we just finished it today, so I'm like, oh, he'll be surprised. I'm excited to show Kevin.
So let's talk a little bit about the changes we have coming up to two of our our traditional segments, Tea Time and Observatory Talk. Mm-hmm. First, why don't you talk about Tea Time?
Well, I'm trying to think of what to do. Maybe I'm not going to do tea time anymore. I might switch up my segment, probably in the new year. I'll have, I definitely want to end out this year with my tea time, because people have really enjoyed it. They really, really have. So, and I've enjoyed doing it. So I'm going to give myself a couple of months to think about how I'm going to do this next. But it's just going to be a little bit different. I'll still have my segment, and but it just won't be the same format that we've done. But today I do have one thing that I usually do on my usual format of Tea Time with Tanya. Okay, so everybody knows Trader Joe's my favorite shopping place, right? So, okay. Right. I picked up this root beer, okay? It's ancient mushroom elixir, okay? Now, I have not tried this, okay? So, it has these 3 mushrooms in it, and supposedly it fortifies immune health every day. So
I'm sorry, so this is but it is root beer.
It's root beer with reishi, chaga, and turkey tail mushroom in it.
Okay.
I don't know what I don't know what that means, but
those are types of mushrooms, yeah,
that are medicinal. Okay.
Yes.
So
have you tried this before?
I have not. So I brought it up to the cashier to purchase, and they were like, "I've never even seen this before." I was like, "I don't know. I've never tried it," but they said you need to let us know. So I'm going to let everybody know what this tastes like. Okay. So when I drink, what
taste test, right?
Okay. Yes.
Right now,
if I decide if I want a soda, I get root beer. That's my soda of choice. Okay?
I love root beer.
So do I. Okay. So. Right.
Okay, now you've never tasted it before. It is mushroom flavored or mushroom infused. It
smells just like root beer, literally.
Root beer. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Bottoms up.
I wish we had some here. I want to play some music or something here. Let's see here.
Okay. It's like that. You know that trick they say for people to do seltzer water with balsamic vinegar, and it tastes like a soda. It's kind of like that.
I've never heard that.
Oh yeah. People who are trying to like lose weight, they say do soda, like seltzer water, and add balsamic vinegar, and it tastes like Coca-Cola. Is
that real?
It's all over TikTok. Yes, it's a true thing.
Good.
Okay, but this actually it does taste like root beer. It's not as sugary, which I actually appreciate because that's the hard part for me. I just don't like all the sugar and all those syrup, but it's good.
So does it pass the root beer test?
It does. You know what? I probably would actually choose this root beer over another root beer now.
Okay.
Because it's got my medicinal purpose in it. Okay.
There you go.
Hopefully it also helps me lose weight.
Okay. So while you're I guess downing the rest of that root beer, I am going to also I want to just point out I'm going to make some changes to observatory talk. You know, historically it's been kind of focused on remote observing.
Your Chilean desert one.
At the Atacama Obstec Chile scope, it's a monstrous kind of thing. But I have been spending more and more time on my backyard telescopes. It's a kind of people saw from the last video. It's a bit of a makeshift or temporary observatory. It's a roll off that I've done through. It's kind of a garage port kind of thing.
Yeah, that
and I've just been learning all kinds of stuff about kind of having your own observatory. Like you and I were talking about, can you use a Losmandy mount remotely? Meaning like, you're not standing next to it every day. And I do have a camera on it so I can kind of see what's going on. So other than having to manually walk over and kind of pull the carport thing away from the telescopes, it's basically a remote mount.
So if you had like a roll off or something, you actually wouldn't have to ever walk out there.
That's right. And other than that, I don't walk out. I don't walk out there.
Right.
So, and my experience has been like, other than possibly catastrophic things, which I have not run into, and I've been doing this for probably about 6 months now. Mm-hmm. It's just not a big deal. It's actually quite easy to use and quite easy to use remotely. And that includes leaving all the equipment out there. We had a solid week where it was 115 degrees Fahrenheit every day, 5 consecutive days.
And you leave it all out there.
And it's all out there and everything's working great. The telescopes are fine. There's a reflector, there's a refractor, there's a few other things. Mm-hmm. It's fabulous. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'd like to focus on that because I would say probably a lot of our customer base, they are trying to do this backyard observatory, remote observatory, and a lot of people are more putting it out there as an observatory because it's more readily available and things like that. Or they're building their own. I have a guy, he's buying his wife all of her telescope equipment, and he's building her a very nice pier out in their backyard for her.
Nice.
I know. I guess he's like the techie guy, so he's getting the computer stuff and all that stuff done, but she's the astrophotographer. So I think that's really cute.
That's true love right there.
It is. It totally is. I mean, this guy went all out for his wife too. He did not spare anything. He was like, at it, get it all. I thought that was sweet. She's got a husband. I think she's got a great husband for doing that for her.
That is true. So that's kind of, I think in observatory talk, we're going to see more focus on the backyard stuff. I might throw some bits and pieces every once in a while, but for Losmandy owners, there's going to be a lot more there. speaking of backyard observing and things you would do during the weekend, now that we have our guests coming on here shortly, tell me a little bit about what you got coming this weekend, and then we're going to bring our guest on here shortly and have him ready to go.
Yes. He's coming on via Zoom or via video. He's coming on via video, which is awesome because I love Kevin. He's great. He works for Skywatcher. And Kevin, he has a focused astronomy organization that he does himself. And he might have some other people. And he may have some people, like other people that are in his organization with him. But he's putting on this program with the, I'm going to let him explain it a little bit more, but I do know that it's at the Arizona Challenger Space Center in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll be driving out there on Friday. Everybody will have up their easy ups because there's a bunch of manufacturers that are going to be doing solar observing outside. I'm sure there'll be all the different ones. He'll be able to tell you a little bit more about it, but we will have the, I'm going to have my Lunt telescope on a GM8 mount.
Oh, you're going to be there. Yeah.
I will be there with our Lunt. That's why Kevin thought of asking us to do it because he knew I had a Lunt scope. So we'll be out there doing that solar event. And I'm really excited about it. We already have people saying that they're coming down and checking it out. So it should be a great turnout and everything like that. So I'm excited about it.
So with that, hopefully we're going to bring Kevin on and he's ready to talk about this event, right?
I think so. I hope so. I told him.
Kevin!
What's up?
Hey, Kevin. How are ya?
I am printing name tags.
Oh, my gosh. Are those our credentials?
No, those are back here.
Oh, wow.
So.
Awesome.
Boy, you're making it all happen.
Yeah, this whole week's been kind of like, trying to get it all together. So.
Is your sister already currently helping you?
No, Amy will be coming in on Friday. She's around, but I mean, she'll be stepping in on Friday to start her specialty. Nice.
I'm looking forward to meeting her. Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate you doing this. We're here to talk about the solar event that you are hosting this coming weekend. It's just on Saturday, though, so I shouldn't say the whole weekend. But it did just start as a day event that we were going to do from 10 to 3. But a lot of people showed a lot more interest in that. Now you want to also do a star party. I think it starts at like 6:30 or something, and we'll be out there doing telescopes. And you're bringing me a telescope to have at nighttime. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much. I'll have a Skywatcher 130. I think you're bringing for me. Is that correct?
120.
Oh, 120. Okay, all right. Whatever.
Yeah. So Kevin, why don't you tell it? Because we haven't even really we haven't really sort of formally introduced the event. Maybe you could sort of talk a little bit about that. The sort of the details behind it, and we've got a few pictures we can show while you're discussing that.
Sure. Yeah, so the event is called SOL, which is kind of a play on everything because it's Solar Observing Lab, and then Sol is the name of the sun, so kind of a fun planet. But what this event is about getting people out and getting hands-on with a lot of the solar equipment that's on the market nowadays. And in 2017 it was just a massive pile of crap that went on. I mean, everyone was looking to get into it last minute, but there was so much bad information about are the glasses right? How do I do it? So this actually stemmed from just being like a small class for like 10 people and quickly snowballed into why don't we just make it an event? And then it's like, why don't I call some friends of mine? And now these people are coming to come hang out and show their stuff.
Right. I love it.
But it's really grown into this big old event. And so it's taking place here this Saturday.
You know what's so interesting? It's a great time to do this because it's exactly almost 1 year away from the annular eclipse. It's October 14th. And so this is going to be really preparing people for that eclipse if they want to view it. The education that you and everybody, the speakers, will be providing.
Exactly. It's really just supposed to be a completely immersive event to where if you don't know anything about solar astronomy or you just want to know how to view it safely from like an educator standpoint, it covers the gamut. I mean, we'll have everything from little eclipse glasses, which we're actually giving them out for free to attendees.
Oh,
We have
very cool.
Rainbow Symphony, thanks to them, they sponsored this with 1,000 pairs of custom glasses.
That was very nice.
Awesome. So those are all branded with the Sol brand. So when you come in, you can head over to one of the booths, which I'll tell you in a minute about, and pick up a free pair of glasses, and then we'll run all the way up to $20,000 to $30,000 Daystar hydrogen alpha filters and everything in between. So
and people can actually look in those.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have it set up.
We'll have everything from like 40 millimeter all the way up to 8-inch H alpha systems, and we'll be doing live imaging. I would like people to know that this is the viewing portion is weather permitting, but the event goes on no matter what, because we do have an inside setup plan if the just in case, but it is happening regardless. But I'm really hoping that everything is good and we can.
So do I.
Yeah. So let me just put up the. I'm putting up the graphic again. It is October 22nd, which is this Saturday, right?
Yep.
Yeah. There you are.
Yep.
And I want to point out, I'm going to hide this, but we're going to switch over to the website, which is focusastro.org//sol, SOL, right?
Yep.
And this is where it looks like it's just everything, right? Just all the information.
Everything's on there. The third or fourth paragraph, it says Sol event PDF. If you want to know the every last detail of the event, you can download the PDF. It's just
here it is. Yep.
Yep.
And I think I have it. Yeah. So here it is. I have a separate link here. So this is the PDF.
Got it.
It talks through the event schedule, which I'll just sort of leave on here for a second.
Yeah. Everything is there. If you want to know what's going on, it's all there. Everything you would ever want to know is in there. So
yep. So then the astronomers who are being there, the vendors, public information. The admission is completely reasonable, $10.
Yeah, and I would like to mention that all the admission is going to. So it used to be called the Challenger Space Center. Now it's called the Earth and Space Expedition Center.
Okay.
All the money goes to them. They're allowing us to do this event for basically free. All the ticket, that all goes to them.
Yes, yeah, and all of us are just going out just to support this because it's so important. I've done solar events with Scott, and I really enjoy them. It's a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and then we'll do the star party, weather permitting, that night from 6:30 to 9:30. If you have, all the details are in there, but if you came for Sol and you come back and you've got your wristband, you just get right back in.
Fabulous.
Or if you just want to come for the star party, there's discounted tickets. We have a silent auction. We have a raffle going on.
Okay, so I don't know what part I'm in, but Kevin, I have something to show you.
Oh, yes.
No way.
Okay, yeah, I have it. Now, nobody's seen it because we just finished it, right? So this is what will be, I don't know if we're raffling it or whatever, but
it's a silent auction thing, but we could switch them.
So in honor of solar, we made a clear anodized Losmandy DUP 14 plate. So we had to get special paint to laser engrave that on. And then it also has all of the side engravings that people love.
And this is it's great for solar because it's not going to absorb the heat like black will.
Right.
And it's I've never seen one of these before. So these are special just for this?
Yeah, we did it.
Wow.
So come out and do the silent auction. I might have a couple of these, Brian, for you, for the people. It's a little bit different of a little bit different of an engraving process. So we did quite a few of them. So and thanks for hosting the event. We'll be giving one for you too.
Oh, cool. And then so the silent auction is where those plates will be, and that's at the Astronomy Association of Arizona booth, and all the money goes to helping them continue their outreach efforts in Arizona.
Right.
Some of the exhibitors that are going to be there are Lunt Solar Systems, which we all know. Skywatcher, not just me, but my crew is going to be there. Losmandy, you guys will be there. There's the glasses. You can get those for free at the Stella booth.
Okay.
Nice.
Mount Lemmon
Yep.
Sky Center, Daystar filters, and we actually have Jen, the owner of Daystar, will be there in person.
Oh, I haven't seen her since Neve. Gosh, it's been years.
Jen is coming from Daystar. Brian and Faye are coming from Lunt. Lowell Observatory, Star Arizona, Astronomy Association of Arizona, Stella's really cool. They're kind of the newcomer to this. They're a astrophotography group dedicated to women and getting more women.
Oh, fabulous!
I love that. So I love it.
They have like 12 or 13 women from around the country coming right now. So
that's great.
All over the place.
And Kevin, I just want to kind of back up for a second. I mean, when you talk about astro equipment for solar, or I guess solar equipment for solar viewing and imaging, I mean, Daystar and Lunt are really they are where it's at right now.
Yeah,
I'm not
the main players.
I don't mean to take anything away from everybody else. They all do various things, but these kind of are. If you really want to see what the best of the best is, this is the place to come and actually see them. And as you mentioned, going from 40 millimeters to 8 inches, I don't think anyone who's doing solar is going to get a better opportunity to see what's available that's state of the art.
You can come under. It's what I really wanted was I wanted you to be able to, because you've been to a star party, Brian and Tanya, where it's like, well, what's a 8-inch looks like? What's a 6-inch look like? Like you can do that at night all the time. But solar's like this niche that you don't get to do that often, and they're fairly expensive little instruments for what you're doing.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah.
You know, people come in, they're like, well, I want to do white light, or what's hydrogen alpha, and what's double stack, and why would I do this filter versus this filter, and what's calcium like? So here you can come out and just go right down the field and get a complete,
because a lot of times you can't view that stuff because you do have to have protective. This is one of those things, like if you're going to do solar, don't do the welding glass. People put the welding shield or whatever. That is not a safe way of looking at the sun. You really, really need to read about doing this. And if you're going to be looking at the eclipse, it's very, very, very important. But I hear it's one of the most magnificent experiences that you could experience in your life. So
yeah, and that's what I want people to get from Sol, whether you're not into astronomy at all and you're just trying to understand how to do it with like eclipse classes, or maybe another big thing was, as you guys were talking about a little bit earlier before I hopped on here, was if you're interested in getting equipment, almost any equipment, you need to be thinking about it now and not waiting till you're within the 6th month mark. It's a lot like Christmas, where it's like, what do you mean it's December 24th and you don't have anything that I want? It's like, no, you need to do it now.
Will sell out, right? This is not a trick. I'm just telling you, it happened in the last solar eclipse. Nothing was to be found for any amount of money.
Right.
No, I've already talked to Lunt and I've talked to Daystar. They're already seeing the wave.
I just had a guy call. He ordered our Losmandy mount. He has his Lunt 130 on order with Lunt already, and because the eclipse is going over his house, so he's going to have a solar party that day. And I guess he said he gets 3 minutes of a total. Nice. So people are buying now, which is good. I like to see people be prepared.
Yeah, it's good for the industry and keeping our hobby healthy. But yeah, now is the time where you really need to get on it, and that's why we wanted to do it a year out, where it's like, here's how you do it. Talk to some experts, see what you want, what fits your budget. And then go place your order for it, because you actually got to use it. So
exactly. Yeah,
you're window shopping. So.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of observing, I want to point out, because I know this has been a personal project of yours, Kevin. I'm not sure what the name of this telescope is, but in the Sol website, under what we do, there's this is your baby, right? The 28-inch telescope, and you're going to have it there.
Yeah, that is the large aperture outreach telescope, or the LAOT. It was a privately funded or crowdsourced. I had parts of it donated through various organizations that I work with. But the whole point was to make the largest mobile telescope I could.
Wow. I can't wait to see this. Yeah, I cannot wait to see this.
It's a 28-inch job. It's f3.3. It's fast.
Yep.
But yeah, that took 5 years to complete, 3 years for the mirror to be done.
Wow.
Incredible.
It's finished and it's already seen light, and it really does throw down just as good of an image as you would expect. So,
Brian, you jealous I'm going to be there and not you?
It's killing me. Yeah, I mean, this is but I mean, it's not just a giant telescope. It's also kind of a labor of love, and to some extent, it's kind of a work of art, right? I mean, when you talk about hand picking the pieces and assembling it, and it's it's got some nice wood associated with it. There's some real care that went into this.
Yeah, and Scott that you see there in the picture, he works at Star Arizona. He'll actually be at Sol, but he made the mirror and the whole scope for me. It took years to really refine what I was looking to do with it, but he stepped up to the plate and made it happen.
Yeah, I talked to Scott. I'm glad to hear that he'll be at Sol, because I talked to him, just through work from Losmandy, because they sell our products. They love the Losmandy products, so it'll be nice to meet him. I'm excited. Yep,
Scott and Steve from Star Arizona will be there, as well as Diana, who works there, but she's also tag teaming because Sol is her baby, or Stella is her baby, so she'll be kind of tag team, but they'll be right next to each other, doing
perfect
booths and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice arrangement. So
so 28-inch mirrors are not a common occurrence at even just star parties. So I think it's really a great opportunity that if anyone's thinking about coming to this event, this is one more reason to actually check it out.
That will be out at night. That will not be out. There's not a solar filter for that telescope.
Yeah, I should have clarified. It'll probably burn a hole in your skull, in about 2 seconds if you
We'll have plenty of nice things out there, but that will be at night.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
there
exciting.
You go.
Well, this is going to be a great show. Thanks for thinking of Losmandy and me to come out there. I'm really excited about doing it, Kevin. So
it'll be fun. Wear your sunscreen. Weather. We're watching the weather. Right now it does show partly cloudy, but it's a few days out. But a high of 85 degrees and a light breeze, so it should be a pretty nice autumn day for Arizona if it could just stay clear. I would like people to know again that even if it's downpouring, it's still happening. We'll just be inside showcasing. It'd be like a miniature Neef-esque thing. But
Okay.
But we'll be hanging out anyway, so.
We'll be there, and I'll see you Saturday morning at 8 a.m.
I look forward to seeing those dovetails.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited about them. It was fun to do. So.
You guys need to do like a G11 that way.
You're pushing on an open door. From my perspective, I'm not going to commit Losmandy to anything.
I know.
Just like a special edition anniversary run where there's like 100 of them, and that's it.
Trust me, that conversation's been on the table. It's not me holding it back.
No.
Well, thanks, Kevin.
Well,
thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'll see you on Saturday. We appreciate that.
Drive safe. See you later.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye, Kevin.
Oh, that was great seeing him.
Yeah, and I think that is pretty much our show this week. It's going to be a slightly shorter one, right?
Hold on. Yes, it is. Well, it's not too much shorter. It's usually around this amount of time. Don't forget, we are going to try to live stream from the show this Saturday.
Oh, right. So we're going to live stream through YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
And you and I have to practice that a bit.
Yes. Keep the fingers crossed that it works and that we're successful in it. So this will be our first time doing something like this. So, bear with us if there's some glitches or if it, but we're hoping that it happens.
It's kind of going to be like a reporter on the street kind of thing. You're going to be out there. I'm going to be here. We're going to do a format that's similar to this, but hopefully the Wi-Fi or the cellular service is going to be good there.
Yeah. I have a 5G phone, so hopefully it will be. So
wow.
Yeah.
Fancy.
I know. I got all fancy this year. No, just kidding. It's an older one, but it just still has 5G. So stay tuned and look for that. And we appreciate you watching.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
All right. And we'll sign off now, Tanya.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Thanks.